demonstrate creating a roll-up summary and activating it, and then we'll have a quick demo to prove that it's operating correctly. So first of all, let's create the roll-up definition. I'll give it a brief title there. For this demo, we're going to treat the account object as the parent, and we're going to treat the opportunity as the child, and those two objects are related to each other via the account ID, which resides on the opportunity. With the option of providing some criteria here, we're not going to do that in the demo, but this could be used kind of similar to the roll-up filter criteria that you see in the platform today. I'm going to choose to aggregate the amount field that's on the opportunity. I'm going to total that into the annual revenue field. So these are all API names, not labels. They're the API names that you can see when you're browsing the configuration for the objects. I'm going to try and activate the roll-up summary definition just to illustrate some error handling here. What it's telling us is that this particular child object opportunity has yet to be enabled for this tool, and by enabling it, what we mean is an apex trigger needs to be placed on that object, and that's the hook into the tool that allows the tool to respond to the configuration that we're defining here. So we're going to untick that for now and save the record, and to ensure that we can come back and activate that, we need to click the Manage Child Trigger button. This takes us to a Visualforce page which allows us to review a small fragment of code that's going to be injected into the org. This code doesn't need to be copy pasted anywhere or used any Eclipse tool or change set tool. This page will push this code in. It's purely for those that are interested to see what code's going into their org. As you can see, it's fairly minimalistic, and it does indeed include a test, so that if this was a production org, then of course we wouldn't be able to deploy anything without a requisite test for covering the code. So the tool ensures that that's present as well. So we click deploy, and the page sets off deploying this code. And depending on what you've got in your org, this could take several seconds or several minutes. There is a progress if you look closely when it's taking its time, so the dots appearing after the deployment message. So this has finished in rather swift time. We can see that the deployment was completed successfully, and we've got our triggers and classes in place. So that's pretty much all we need to do as a one-off for this particular child object. So if we were to create other roll-up summary definitions that were using opportunity as a child, we don't need to repeat this process. One trigger will respond to a number of roll-up summaries relating to that child object. So indeed now we can go and actually activate the roll-up summary, and the system allows us to do that now because it detects the requisite triggers in place. So this is now live and active, so any changes that we make to the opportunities will automatically roll up into the annual revenue. Let's go and have a quick look at some opportunities in this org. So we can see that I've got an opportunity here which has got an amount of 400, and the account name has also got annual revenue of 400. This happens to be the case for the data already, but we really want that to now respond to our roll-up summary. So let's go back to our opportunity and modify it to say 460. So that saves. You can see 460 here. If we now go back to the account, we can see that the annual revenue is now reflecting 460. So it's now possible to define lookup and roll-up summaries using this tool, and you can go back and edit and redefine any of the criteria, and it will respond immediately to those changes. In the event that you actually want to remove the roll-up summary tool, you can deactivate and that will switch off particular individual roll-up summaries. If you actually want to remove the trigger that was placed on the objects, you simply click Manage Child Trigger again, and this time it detects that the trigger is already present and offers a remove button, and it will repeat this similar process to before, where you'll be waiting for that process to complete, and that has completed and the trigger has been removed. So now we're able to delete the rule and uninstall the package. So that hopefully shows the life cycle of the tool, how to create, activate the rules, the effect it has on the objects that you've expressed here, and also how to deactivate and activate the rules, much like you would validation rules or workflow rules. Hopefully that is a useful feature. So that's about it for this beta release. In an upcoming release I'll talk about a calculate button, which is a kind of way of retrospectively catching up on roll-ups that you've just created for existing data. There'll also be a new calculation mode, which is here but not operational, called schedule. This allows you to use the tool in a kind of schedule mode, which doesn't require a trigger, and it will do it periodically. So it's kind of, that isn't real time, but it may be preferable. Or if you can get away with doing scheduled, it's a much more efficient way of processing the data than trying to do it real time. Developer is a mode where if you have got developers working in your org and they wanted to make use of this declarative way of expressing the roll-up summaries, but yet they're writing their own triggers on your child object, then there is a way, an API that'll be available so that they can call the engine from their trigger. So you wouldn't use the manage trigger button in that case. You would just rely on the developer having actually called the engine from their custom written triggers. So a few calculation modes to come in a later release. Real time is the first feature that's available. Look forward to getting some good feedback from the community on this. Hopefully find it useful. Thanks very much. Bye bye.